Hey, and we're live. Mark's Message. It is Thursday, the 13th of August, and I am very excited tonight on Mark's Message. The 13th of August, we are broadcasting live from Peachtree Corners, Georgia, the peachiest place on the planet. And I do have to give my shout outs. Grow Live Nation, emerging sales winners, diehards, everybody within the state of Georgia, Peachtree Corners, the entire planet, all my brothers and sisters of the virtual world. We have a guest tonight, Eric Bam. We're going to find out who's Eric Bam. And I'm going to bring him on here, but real quick, Eric wanted me to give you a little bio. So he says, you can introduce me as VP of Sales and Marketing for Perfect Crust and Incredible Bags. And in the last 2 years, Eric won an Internet Advertising Award for Instagram promotion. He's had an article, 8 Easy Ways to Make Sales and Marketing Work for Your Pizzeria. Without further ado, I've got to bring on the man himself, the man with the plan here, Mr. Eric Bam.
Wow. I think I should just quit right now while I'm ahead.
No, don't quit, man. We're just getting started. We're just getting ready to have some fun.
Well, I'm honored. I'm your first guest. You're in Georgia, but I'm in Liberty, America. I'm in Liberty, Oklahoma.
Tell them, yes.
We're worldwide right now.
Hey, we're brothers, right? You know,
it's incredible. Thank you for having me on. I've watched it before, and you do a great job. And I'm excited to be your first kind of real guest, I guess. Other than Ken Wall on, but come on.
Well, that doesn't count, right?
Us two, we get
master of the live
stream. Yeah,
right.
It's all good.
Right.
So
Eric, tell us real quick, and I'm going to delve into this. You know, there's some things I'm going to ask you later on, but you, to me, are the ultimate giver. When you ask, you receive so little, but you serve others and gain so much. And I have a quote here I live by. When I lost my excuses, I find my results. That kind of epitomizes you. And then you have this thing about what I call the innocent climb. Sometimes the disease of me gets involved with that. But as a business person, why don't you elaborate and explain to everybody out here what you've been doing COVID, pre-COVID, COVID, and what you're looking to do to propel yourself into post-COVID. So why don't you take it away?
Yeah, thank you. I think I kind of had maybe an epiphany this morning. I was on the treadmill, and we live in this interesting world where everyone is trying to climb that mountain of social media, right? And you have all these people standing down at the bottom of the mountain, and they're waiting on guys like Jeffrey Gitomer or Gary Vaynerchuk or Tony Robbins to give them a magic pill or to give them an escalator or to find the elevator, and they're not going anywhere. And the reality is there is no magic pill, and it's a daily process. Social media is a daily grind. And so we have so many people out there that are looking for answers to what it is. And it's a lot about, we talk about, you hear a lot lately, the buzzwords of bring value. The new normal is bring value. And I think, we talked about this yesterday. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because you should have been, hey, Robert, how are you? You should have been bringing value before COVID hit. So now what the new normal is bring value, but it's bring value via social media, bring value via voice, bring value via video. It's not bring value. That's what you should have been doing anyway. I've been listening a lot lately on the treadmill to some old school Zig Ziglar just for fun. And, Ziglar used to talk about, if you want to get what you want, helping other people get what they want. Right. And that's old school terminology for bring value. We've been saying that stuff for years, right? Just years upon years.
Right.
So some of the things that we've done right, and that I'll give you here's a quick tip for everybody that jumps on. Okay. This is super easy.
Thank you, Ken.
Get on your laptop tonight and open up 4 or 5 tabs. Open up Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Open those 4 up if you've got all 4 of those. And if you don't, that's another subject. And we'll talk about that in a minute too. But open up all 4 of those. And I want your handle on all of those to be exactly the same. So you can find me at the Eric Bam on every platform. TikTok at the Eric Bam. Okay. And the reason for that is it's so easy to go to Mark and say, hey, I know we just met. By the way, you can find me everywhere at the Eric Bam. Done. Right? So that's tip number 1. Everyone needs to jump all over that. It's so easy. Ray Campbell, who may be on here, Ray did that the other day and changed all of his platforms to the Soup Campbell. And
okay.
And the reason why I say to open them all at the same time, I would start with Facebook first and change your setting on Facebook first, and then play with all the rest of them and make sure you can get one that works on all of them. So you may have to be a little creative. It could, I bet Mark Gassert's available, but if it's not, put the Mark Gassert. If it's George Henderson, put the George Henderson. If it's Ken Walls, hey Ken, how are you? Excited to be on the show. If it's the Robert Brooker, but make sure that you are easily accessible, easily found. That's the basic stuff.
Hey, Ray, and can I just interject something here?
Yes.
So let me see if I understand and get this correct here, Eric. So what you're saying about there's no magic pill, some people feel like virtual is the only thing to do. Now, I'm not knocking virtual, but you mentioned something about the phone. You mentioned something about emails and, how you present yourself. I spend a lot of time on this bad boy right here.
As you should.
And, and today, believe it or not, and thank you, Ken Walls, once again, it looks like I'm going to secure another customized training session here. But through doing this platform, it's helped me communicate better with people because I got to say, we're looking at a camera here. And when I get live, I'm like, yeah, dig it. Because it's so much fun to talk to a human being. So
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. The old school way we did things of picking up the phone or dropping dropping a thank you card like this that I got from Kellen, like dropping one of those.
Awesome.
That stuff's still important. It's
Okay.
just changing and it's adding and being addition to. Like I said, you still want to make phone calls. You still want to develop a relationship. But to get on LinkedIn and just to sit there and send emails all day long is fine. But you're going to get a lot more reaction from sending a video, sending an audio. I would challenge people to I wonder how many people know that you can get on LinkedIn and in a direct message, you can send a video. You can send a voice message.
Yes.
So easy to do, and yet people don't do it. I send them all the time. I'm in a group called Megamind. It's our own private mastermind with about 20 people, and we do it every day, and people are still blown away. How did you do that? Hey, Barry, how are you? It's so easy to do. There was a friend of mine, Rich Villar. Rich posted an article, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it said a video message is the closest thing to a hug. And so it's standing on the bottom of that mountain of social media and not forgetting how you got there. It's you still want to remember that it's okay to write a handwritten note. It's okay to actually talk on the phone. Another point that I had written down was, stop sending text messages. How many text messages did that someone got mad because they interpreted your text message wrong?
Correct.
Right? We have right here, these are the single greatest communication device in the history of the world, and yet we're still sending text messages and we're upset that somebody read it wrong. When you could just send a voice message and they could hear everything.
Robert share. I didn't mean to, but Robert's just
No,
sharing.
I see you reading it too.
He's always wit and wisdom there, Robert. So until the great hack, and now I need to have some beautiful friends on Instagram.
Well, I will tell you, I am a little amazed by the amount of adults. Sean, I love me some Sean Litvak leadership. Sean's the man. He does a live in the morning with the dog, and it's awesome. Everyone should know Sean Litvak. But I'm amazed by the amount of adults. I'm 50 years old. I know you're in your mid-60s and look phenomenal, by the way. I'm amazed
Thank
by
you. Hey, Ron Goodwin.
Ronnie Goodwin is the man. I got Ron Goodwin's coin here, but there are other social media platforms besides Facebook. And here's the thing with Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even TikTok for that matter. It's the equivalent of a free billboard. Why would you not use a billboard on Instagram for your business? And you look at it because I only drive this highway every day. There are millions of people on that highway too. Why would you not be on Instagram? And by the way, Instagram is owned by Facebook. You can post on Instagram and link it straight to your Facebook. Why would you not do that? I don't understand that. And one of the things we talk about a lot. Hey, Phil, I love Phil. Phil is
Phil. Yes, he is.
Phil is amazing. I talk to Phil every day and learn something new every day from Philly. He's a good dude. One of the things about social media is, 10 years ago on Facebook, if you wanted to see what someone wrote, you would quote unquote go to their wall. We don't do that anymore. Okay. We don't go to their wall. We just scroll through the timeline. So, as far as being successful at social selling, I have a couple of guidelines and I'll share those with you.
Sure.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to judge you a little bit because you're not very good at it.
That's okay.
You ready? I'm just going to be honest, Mark. I looked at your Facebook. All right. So here's what if you want to be very successful at social selling, okay, you should do three things. You should talk about your family first, which Mark doesn't do a very good job of. You should talk to your customers and prospects second. Okay.
This is on Facebook.
On Facebook. This is on any platform. Okay. Whether it's Instagram, talk about your family on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has changed. It's not just spammy business stuff anymore. Okay. So talk about your family first. By the way, when you hear Jeffrey Gitomer talk about me and say I'm a great family guy, you know why he knows that? Because he sees pictures of my family.
Okay.
Post pictures of your family. So talk about your family first. Post pictures of your family. Be first and foremost. Your kids, your nieces, whatever you're doing, talk about your family first. Second, talk about your customers. Share their content. What's going to happen in that process when you share your customers' content and you're talking about your customers? Guess what? They see it. They feel like you're supporting their business, right? And as you continue to do that, you will become the expert. You will be perceived as the expert because you're sharing all this content. And last, talk about your business. So to kind of come back to that, the reason you talk about your family first is the equivalent of popping the hood. Let people see the engine. Let people relate to you. I had a guy 3 or 4 weeks ago, a pizza guy that's been around for a while. We just became friends on Facebook, and I posted a picture of my daughter, and he literally sent me a direct message within a day of being friends. And he said, "How old's your daughter?" And I said, 8, right? And he said, "I have an 8-year-old." And he said to me, "How many LOL dolls do you have?" Mark, I don't know if you know what an LOL doll is, but they're about this big with giant. Yeah. And I said, "Oh man, they're everywhere," and I step on them. He's like, "Oh," and we totally bonded over that. And conversation goes, and finally he says, "Hey, so what is perfect crust? Can you tell me about that?" And so we start talking about it.
Got it.
So let people see the personal side of you because they connect with you versus if it's just this constant, my business, my business, my business. Look at this, look at this, look at this. People tune out of that. People unfollow people like that. So do you have a link to her? To who? My daughter? That's weird. Come on, Phil. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he's talking about follow Judy Fox here.
Yep.
LinkedIn influencer.
Oh, cool.
Ken sharing that with us. Ken knows all. He knows everybody. Can I just ask a question about that?
Yes.
When you mention about Facebook, and it's kind of funny because, being from the old school, you separate the two, your personal life, your professional life. And I think sometimes you brought up a great point, and I need to work on that. Is probably bring in my family more and show more things. This
totally should.
I did some things with them, and we had a blast. They pulled me around, and I was tubing, and they wore me out. My son obliterated me, but at 64, it slipped, and I'm out there doing stuff, and this kid said to me, "Dude, you are how old? You're out here doing this with your 23-year-old, and
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you have to share
about sharing, your personal life, and your business life. But it's a great point, and I know what you're saying.
One of the things I talk about a lot is if you and I were in Houston at the Houston Galleria, Houston Westin Hotel, and we were to a Robert Brooker convention tomorrow to see him speak, and you and I both sat at the hotel bar. There was a bar stool between us. We were going to eat dinner at the bar, right? And we started chatting. There's a stat out there: within 3 minutes, one of us will say to the other, "So what do you do?" And
right.
I don't say, "Gosh darn it, I'm the best husband that ever was," or you don't say, "You should see me, grandfather," or "You should see me go to church." We immediately talk about what we do for a living, and so it's okay to talk about what you do for a living, but after that conversation, we as people connect on a different level. And so that's the opportunity. And by the way, for you to talk about your old school and keep this separate from that, I understand all that, but we don't live in that world anymore.
Absolutely.
And to a guy like you, that here you are doing live video every week, and it's awesome because you do adapt and you do change and you do grow. So like I said, post about your family first, post about your customers and prospects second, right? And post about your business last in that order. And then as you're posting, the other rule that I have is I use the acronym of ICE, I-C-E. Don't post it unless it does one of three things. It inspires, it connects, and it educates. So don't talk about politics, because you know what? If I say, I love Joe Biden, right? And you say, I love Donald Trump, we get into this war on Facebook. And I've never, ever seen one time when that happens that someone goes, you know what, Mark? You changed my mind. We just become more entrenched in the way we think.
Right.
You never win in those
absolutely.
Same thing with COVID, where you've got people that are like, everyone needs to wear a mask and it's the end of the world. And you have people that say this is nothing worse than the flu. And no one ever says, by gosh, Mark, you changed my mind on COVID. Don't have that discussion.
Right.
Don't politics. Don't talk about COVID. Don't talk about protests. Whatever's hot in the media right now, don't talk about it. In my case, the family I share about the ones I spend the most time with, and this is adopted family here on Facebook. Okay, if that works, as long as you're talking about your family first. And when you talk about pizza, talk about Eric. No doubt. No doubt. So
I had to share that.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Thank you, Phil.
Your post should inspire, connect, and educate. And what happens is through that whole process, your personal brand comes out. Your personal brand, for me, my personal brand is pizza and my family. That's my brand. That's who I am.
I got it. Is a pioneer. So are you telling me I'm old? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Ron?
I think that's what he was saying. I think that's what it was.
I came over on the Mayflower. Is that okay? Gotcha.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah. But I will tell you, if I'm more amazed every day by the number of adults, in our generation that don't use Instagram and don't even figure it out, which is absurd to me. They're on LinkedIn. They never post. They never share anything on LinkedIn.
Thanks, Kim.
Kim is the man. I love Kim Hubbs. Kim is the greatest gentleman on the planet. He makes me laugh, and he's awesome. He's from Vancouver.
But you brought up a great point there. Some people tell me I shouldn't do this. Why are you embarrassing yourself? I had a classmate tell me, don't you think it's time for you to retire? From my hometown. I won't get into that, but
I will tell you.
I said, I'm retire from what? I'm not retiring from life. What are you saying?
Right. I have a little passion about that. And I'll tell you this. I was on Brian Monahan does a great show called Pop Up Amazing. And that was brought up, well, what do you say to the people that say, why are you doing that? You know what? Unfollow them. Unfriend them. Move on with your life, because nobody has room for haters and negative. Move on. If they don't like it, too bad. Move on, because
thank you.
That stuff's
thank you. And that's the other point. Having a group like this, do you feel helps you further develop and grow and just being around like-minded people? I mean, share that with us.
Yeah, no doubt. We have, like I said, we have our own mastermind group called Megamind, and I'm surrounded by people every day that I think sometimes in my world, I'm highly motivated. I'm very active on social media. I'm very good at social selling, and I do have friends that are like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing Instagram live every day? What is?"
Thank you, Phil.
What did Philly say? I missed it.
He said, if you love what you're doing in your family and you're healthy, why the hell would you retire?
Exactly.
Phil, I umpire high school and youth baseball games too. I'm crazy,
Yep. And by the way, Mark has a 6-pack. He showed me actually before we went live. Kind of felt a little weird, but
oh man,
it was impressive.
Was that like that saying you threw at me just real quick? I like your style; it's real unique. But this here green room you got's really cheap. That's what you were saying, chirping back there, right?
I did say that, but no. What's cool about this group that I'm in is, sometimes I live my life where a lot of people don't understand what motivates me and what pushes me and the way I'm wired. And sometimes when you're not,
thanks, Ken.
when you're not surrounded by people like that, you can tend to kind of second guess yourself and wonder am I crazy? And when you're surrounded by people that also see a vision and want to be better and want to climb that mountain, it's fun and it's enjoyable. And I will tell you, the group that I'm in, I talked about being at the bottom of that mountain, and no offense to Jeffrey Gitomer, but being on the Jeffrey Gitomer master he did yesterday, and all these people like, help me, dude. The group I'm in, we're halfway up the mountain. While these people are looking for someone to give them answers, we've already tried and made mistakes, and we figured it out, and we're climbing up the mountain. I will tell you one other thing that I wrote down just to share is, and I want to tread lightly on this subject because I love Jeffrey Gitomer. Okay, I love Gary Vaynerchuk. I love those guys. But if you scroll through my Facebook, my Instagram, I'm not sharing all their stuff because I'm talking about my family and my customers and my business. And I love Jeffrey Gitomer. And if he watches this, Jeffrey, I love you, but I ain't sharing his stuff. He's not sharing mine. He's not trying to help me grow my business. And I don't mean that as a negative either. I just mean the gospel that to set every day and share Jeffrey Gitomer quotes, that doesn't help you grow your business. That doesn't inspire people to connect with you. It doesn't inspire people because of you. It doesn't connect people with you, and it doesn't educate people to you in your business. You have to be selfish. Like Jeffrey Gitomer has made a lot of money because he's been pretty good at it, and he's very selfish during the day on his live promoting his business. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You have to be smarter about sharing Jeffrey Gitomer content, or sharing Gary Vaynerchuk content, or sharing any other nationally known speaker. Because here's the rub is that we look at someone like Bryn Tillman, and I like Bryn Tillman. We're connected on Facebook. We actually had a conversation last night actually about Kim Hubbs, and I told her how awesome she was for helping him. But we look at someone like Bryn Tillman and we go, we have to be that good at LinkedIn. Bro, LinkedIn's her job. She does it 50, 60 hours a week.
Right.
I have a full-time job, a family, and I want to be good at LinkedIn. I have a full-time job and a family, and I want to be good at social media. So we have to find the balance there. Oh, Robert's got a long one here.
Robert always does. He's a deep thinker. My mother and sister were, and possibly still are, of the opinion I am simply wasting my time on social media, and yet they do not want any explanations either. And so if something I consider significant happens, creativity is required to mention this. Gratefully remembering that the others think of me is none of my business.
Okay. That right there is the key. What others think of you is none of your business. Now, I will say one of the thoughts I've had lately regarding Facebook is I was on LinkedIn last week ago, this past Friday, and this gentleman put a post up and he said, I got off Instagram 2 months ago and today was my official last day on Facebook. And I think it's just silly. Show of hands, Mark. if at your grandma and your grandpa's house, when you went into their house and you went into the living room, did they have a photo album on their coffee table? Right. They did. And Facebook is the equivalent of
Right.
it's our photo album now. It's where all the pictures are kept. And I will tell you, along those lines, we had a friend of ours, Kelly, who passed away a little over 2 years ago from breast cancer. And Kelly was the person that she just said, hey, I'm out of here, Facebook, and she would be gone for 6 months, right? She had breast cancer, went through chemo, survived, had breast cancer come back, and she didn't make it. And one of the things she said at her house 4 or 5 months before she passed away, and got very emotional talking about how she regretted those times when she left.
Right.
Because she left these long gaps in her photo album.
Right.
And 3-year-old son who's now 4, and there are all these gaps in there. And one of the things she said to us, and I loved it, she just talked about, man, take as many pictures as possible because they're going to be passed down. Facebook's not going anywhere. Let's be honest. It's just not. And so we have such an opportunity. You know, we have pictures that are loaded on here every day, but sometimes those disappear. Sometimes those are gone. Sometimes our phone crashes, they're gone. And if they're on Facebook or they're on Instagram, you know, that's where they should be. And it's okay to post pictures. And once again, if people don't like it, delete them, snooze them, unfollow them, be done with them. It's just, it's not, but to Robert's point, it's not worth worrying about what anyone else thinks about you.
Look at this. Now I know this person, and he's
By the
about
way, I'm drinking some wine.
Oh my,
Cheers.
Eric! Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, a virtual drink for you. When you start thinking about what others think of you, you delay your own development, lose sight of what you want to accomplish. This is something Jacob, Mark's son, taught me in high school as a baseball teammate. That's why he's been so successful. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. Now, this person here played youth baseball, travel baseball, high school baseball. They competed against one another in college. Yeah. And like I said, my son decided to have a couple tryouts at that next level, but he's going to work for Ernst & Young, and he wants to get married and get on with life. But, so be it. But that's neat.
Probably one of the hardest lessons to learn in life personally is just, is to be comfortable in your own skin and not care what other people think.
Right.
Sure that you back up your photos in many different places. Hey, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Right.
Like a weird light here. Where is that light coming from, Mark?
It's not for me. Is it your glass? Is it your glass?
No, it was this.
Oh, okay.
It was that.
Well,
so
let me ask you, Eric, if you don't mind, I do have to venture onward here, but so you mentioned about what you're doing during the COVID thing. How do you feel about, in your life, and I'm going to use baseball analogies, but what was your 3-2 count, your full count in life when you stood up and said, you know what, the hell with it. I don't care what everybody else thinks. This is what I want to do. This is my purpose. This is my mission. I'm moving forward. And, excuse me for saying this, everybody, screw you if you don't like it, and I'll.
Yeah.
So why don't you elaborate?
I think the people that know me pretty well know I've kind of always been that way. I think I've always kind of had a balance of, I'm going to be a little bit of a renegade and I'm going to try stuff. And I care what the people close to me think, but I don't care what a lot of people think. And so, what would be my 3-2 pitch, bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 2 runner, two outs, and we need a 3-run shot to win the game.
JR.
Probably when I came to Smart Packaging, which is Perfect Crust and Incredible Bags,
right?
The president of our company, who I report to, pretty much gave me just, here's the reins, just go do what you want. And so we had a little bit of trial and error, but I always had this desire to want to really push into social selling and what that looked like. And, we stopped, there's a couple of, in our industry, there's a couple of magazines that are very prominent, and we stopped doing any advertising in those. We just changed our whole model and the way we went to market, because what was happening in the past wasn't working. And so, we stepped up to the plate, man. I swung a couple of times and whiffed, and then, dude, I cranked it out. And so that probably my 3-2 moment recently, for sure.
And, here's something I noticed about you, and we talk about this in sales or any walk of life. Like, do I like you? Can I trust you? Are you competent enough to help me? And you truly emulate that. I mean, I've studied you, and didn't stalk you, but I've looked at what you're doing, and it's very intriguing to me. And I've got to give a shout out to Ken. He's the guy that propelled me to do this.
Right.
And I'm glad I did, because it's helped me in so many other ways I can't even fathom. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Just dealing with people in general.
Yep. Yep. Well, I live in that same world. We started doing an Instagram live the week after Jeffrey actually started doing his live, and we had different pizza operators on every day. And I don't, if I set for 30 minutes on Instagram interview and I didn't talk about a perfect crust pizza liner I'm okay with that. Right? Because I'm bringing value to the pizza community. You're bringing value to the community that watches, whether it's one person that watches and they pick up one little nugget that they can apply to their life and they can get better. You win. You win by helping. And, the greatest reward, I think, in life is just to help people. And even if it's to lift people up, even if it's to, the Megamind group I'm in, we have a lot of positive messages sent to everybody every day. And we have something called Crush and Brag, which is kind of cool, which is, a lot of people, if they're very successful in their organizations, the mid-level and lower level people look at them and become very jealous. So it's fun to be part of a group where you can relate to being an achiever. And when you say, guess what? I had a great day. Boom. And everybody's like, yeah. That stuff's awesome. It's fun to be around that stuff. So that stuff's contagious and people need to do more of it.
And here's the thing about that. I call you, and people laugh at me because of my musical I love jazz, but you're what I consider a Miles Davis. You're an innovator. You're a creator. And I gravitate to people like that, creative individuals. Ken Walls is the total creator, innovator of this platform, his Grow Live Academy. If you need to check it out, if any of you haven't, just to see what he's got, because I'll tell you what, I mean, he's impacted a lot of lives, and this is one guy right here, because you have what I call doubt, fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD, and I was questioning myself, and man, like now when I get on the phone and talk to people, they're like, whoa. Or this weekend, I had a kid tell me, and I'll be quiet, that energy. Hey, Blue, where's the energy coming from behind the plate? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He said, man, you're into this. And I love baseball, and I guess it showed. But just what you're doing right now. I mean, it's obvious what you do, Eric.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see what other comment here. I just want to share. It was the habit formed to help at least one person a day. See, Robert keeps throwing this stuff at us. A part of becoming a shining beacon of customer service light.
There you go.
Wow.
That's powerful.
And I know Kellen, she's thank Megamind. Look at this. She's part of this.
She's part of our Megamind group, and we've kind of turned into family a little bit, and we're all mega sharks. It's good stuff.
So what do you do? What do you do normally? Like, how do you prepare? I always like to ask this question, but what do you do in the morning to get yourself amped up? What are some of the things that an Eric Bam, like you get up, you kiss your wife and say, hey, I'm ready.
Hold on. I'm going to shut this blind because I'm getting this light.
Okay.
Hold on. 1 second.
Yeah, you got to remember, he's in a different time zone, everybody, Oklahoma. So.
Yeah, there we go. That's better. You know what? I'm an early riser, so I'm up at 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
I'm on the treadmill now. Our Megamind group's got me motivated. They all walk, and so I've started walking. I started out walking 5 miles a day, and now I'm up to 6.
Wow.
But what I love to. I'm getting a glare really bad there. I love to. I used to be a big book reader.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everything I do, I pretty much listen to stuff. I listen to you.
Okay.
I'm constantly. I don't listen to sports radio hardly anymore. I listen to a little country music here or there. But for me, pretty much it's listening to podcasts. It's picking up nuggets here or there of stuff that motivates me and helps me get better. And I love to pick up, just little things that help me and help me mentally and physically. And one of the things I do, I try to post something positive on Facebook, Instagram every morning. And, do I wake up every morning on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 10? No. But I feel like if baseball's another great.
Okay, Phil. Okay. All right.
But I love to post something first thing in the morning, and I love to do it for a couple of reasons. Number one, if I'm having a great morning, posting something great like kind of gets my brain going a little bit. It marinates in my brain and gets rolling. The other thing it does is
Thank you, Ken.
Having a great morning. I think you can do one of two things. You can say, today sucks, and I'm not looking forward to doing this live interview with Mark tonight. And and you know what happens? All the negative friends you have will jump on that and say, yeah, today does suck, and Mark's an awful person, and he wants all to strike when it should have been a ball, and everybody piles on, right? But if you post something positive in the morning, all your positive friends will jump on and say, you know what, Mark is awesome. He's really devilishly handsome. And one time he called a perfect game for my son on the mound. And today's Friday Eve, and and I think that process gets your brain going in the right direction. Right. I think that's a very important thing that I do every single morning. And I will tell you this, I know you're going to ask a question, but I have a 23-year-old son who's college graduate, just graduated in the last couple of months. But I have an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old, and you know what? I get all those little bugs again all over, and I love it. I love taking the 1-year-old Ruby, taking her to daycare in the morning. My 8-year-old daughter's school start back up. I'm selfish, but I love taking them to school because I get the quality 15 minutes of talking, joking, and I love that stuff. That's the best right there.
So when you talk about hanging around people and you said get rid of those negative influences, how do you go about doing that? And when I say that, some of them could be family members here, Eric, because if someone was to start out in business, and I think this is important coming from you, okay, what would you tell somebody today? Like, you have all these tools out there, an arsenal. I won't mention back in the dark ages when you didn't have all this to start a business. What would you tell somebody today? Like, they're 25 and they're saying, hey, this is what I want to do. This is a business I want to get into. What would you say to them?
I would take some advice from friends and family that are a little older, that maybe, that have been there and done that and understand that. I did tell Kellen a knock joke today. I did.
You're a trip, man.
I voice messaged her and I literally said, knock. Her, Kara, and Michelle, I sent them all separate, and I just said knock, and they were all like, who's there? And I said, old lady, and they all said, old lady who? And I said, it's so nice that you can yodel. I think advice for a 25-year-old, I think, is to take some advice, but don't take too much advice. I think it's at 25, it's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes we look at adults and we feel like we should have it all together. Mark, I still don't have it all together. I'm still learning. I'm still adapting. I'm still growing. And, I think if we sometimes we put expectations on our children, like in school, we expect them to get straight A's. Well, yes. As an adult, you know what? I still can't tell the difference between there, and there sometimes. So, we don't all get straight A's when we're adults. It's a matter of what are your strengths and can you play to that? And what I'm not good at, can I improve it a little bit, or can I hire someone can I have someone with me that helps me be better, that can pick up the slack on that, to where I can really you take advantage of what my strengths are. So,
you brought up a great point there, because it's okay if they make a mistake, whatever. And did you call? What? I didn't call. Did you call? No, I didn't say that. No.
No, that was the knock joke.
Okay. Did you call? No, I didn't do that.
Kellen needs to be deleted or unfollowed right now. So
okay. So okay. But what I was going to say is, it okay to fail your way to success? Now let me finish this. So I do baseball. I see parents say things to their kids, maybe
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I'm horrified what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see a kid like, do you think he's going up there to strike out or miss a ground ball or whatever the case may be? Just
Yeah.
in baseball, you go 1 for 3, and some people aren't happy with that. So how do you get that balance? I guess is I never feel like I do enough. I mean, I struggle with that sometimes, Eric. And
Yeah. You know, I will tell you, this right over my shoulder here, that's this shoulder. It's my son. That was his senior year in high school.
Right.
I was a great football player, was a good baseball player until he decided to play football only. And you saw kids in 5th and 6th grade that their parents were hard on them, so hard to the point that they just quit. And one of the issues I think I have with that a little bit is we've got to have, there's such a balance between let the kids play and have fun. You need to teach how to win at the same time. Sure. But the problem is we're so hard on kids sometimes at a younger age that we burn them out so quickly that they don't want to play. And the reality is we could have stopped the next Michael Jordan or the next Tom Brady from developing because we were too hard on them. And by the way, I'd take 1 for 3 every day because you know what? I'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'd be in the Hall of Fame if I batted.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, see, you energized me just knowing I was going to interview you. I didn't tell you this. I did secure a deal today right before we went on here. So, see, and I was thinking I went bam. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to start saying bam instead of boom.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. I like it. I like it. Well, this has been fun today. So I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay. This could be scary.
Oh, it won't be scary. What's the biggest sale you ever made?
Do you want me to give you the number?
No, I don't want a number. I want the biggest sale you ever made. It may not be a number. What was the biggest sale you ever made?
It was an electronic document printing conference for 3 years, and it was in the millions. I'll say that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question I have written down. Who would be your top 2 or 3 people you'd like to interview on your live here?
My live? Well, I'd have to say
Ken's. It's out there into the world, so out there in the universe. Because these people.
Ken Walls would be one. Now this one and Ron Goodwin might laugh and go, hey, but Bill Russell.
Nice.
He is the quintessential ultimate winner. I would just 30 minutes just to talk to that man. I mean, what's in that man's brain is.
You have another one?
Well, the other one, but I guess I can't. I mean, if I said Jesus Christ, that's not going to work because I
know it has to be alive.
I know. Probably after that, I would like to interview. I'm thinking it's a military person. I would like to interview. Well, he's passed, but if he was alive, can I bring it up, or does he have to be? Okay.
No,
probably George Patton.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'd like to. All right. Last question, and I need somebody to document. Kellen will document those 3. Just kick out the George Patton thing because we can't. That doesn't count.
Right.
Last question. This is pretty important. All right. Who was the first girl you kissed?
Holy moly, man. I got to go back in the archives. The first one I kissed? How old? How old?
Well, I don't know. The first girl you kissed. I don't know. How old was she? I mean,
how old was I? I mean, I could have been a kid at the time.
That's all right. Who was she?
It could have been. I can't remember the last name, and don't hate me. First name Cindy, but Cindy, that was the first one.
Roughly 10, 12? How old do you think you were?
Probably in between 10 and 12, yeah.
All right, now I'm going to go get him here and go bonus 3.5 question.
Oh, God, I knew it.
How dark do you like your marshmallow on a s'more when you bake it in the fire?
I like it brown.
Okay.
Brown all the way around, yeah. A golden brown.
Okay. All right, that's fair. That's a good answer.
So I do have to ask you, I'd like to know this. Patton over Coach Phil. I'm crushed. Okay. You know what? I forgot about Coach Phil. Yeah.
That's right. He's in my top three.
You know,
he's in my top three.
Let's look at this. This is a question for you. How do you define, or what is success for Eric Bam? Forget about money, but what's success for you? Now that's a loaded question. So there's no right or wrong here.
No, there's not. I think just having a successful family. I think sometimes we get very caught up in work and what our work goals are, but we work in order to do things we want to do with our family. We work to provide for our family. And I'm driven to do the things I want to do at work, but a success for me would be, I've raised a great son who's incredible and graduated with a 3.8 GPA, super smart.
That's cool.
And I am so proud of him. And at this point now, I think to be a success would be to probably be a better husband and, to raise two little girls just to be incredible. And they're well on their way because they're a lot like their mom. So they're well on their way to success. And it's just, I think it's just a matter of just being there and being present. And, I had a father that was an abusive alcoholic, and probably I could probably count on the number of hands, the number of times he told me he loved me. And so I'm the polar opposite, man. I love my kids to death, and I cuss them. I kiss them and hug them. I said that together, cuss them. I kiss them and hug them all the time, and I love being a dad. You can ask my hero, what's my favorite thing, and she says to be my daddy.
That's cool. That's cool. And I think sometimes when we're chasing it, we forget about those things that are so much. Ken says, whatever you want and whenever I want. And I got to piggyback onto this. He told me one time, when you die, all the energy leaves the body. Now, if you ever watch somebody pass, I watched my father in a hospice unit, and it's not pleasant, but my brother and I looked at one another and we said, that's not him. He's gone.
Right.
My sister felt differently about it, but I'm like, no, he's gone. That's not Dad. He is long gone. He has left us. He is living in another world. So
I think we don't lay on our deathbed and say, man, I wish I'd worked a little harder. I think we lay on our deathbed and we regret moments, and we regret, family, and we regret things we didn't say or things we did say. And so, I think that kind of ties into success and what that looks like. So, Philly, I love you too, man. Phil's a good dude. But hey, I was going to ask you, I had one more question for you.
Go for it.
And I want to throw this out there for everybody that's maybe watching. Ron's on. Austin will be on your record now. Ron, Phil, Ron, Ken. I'm always amazed by people that are highly successful. They seem to be wired two different ways. They're either wired to just go like hell and be very successful, or they're highly insecure about something. And so, Mark, I would ask you, or Ken, or Phil, or Michelle, are you guys wired that way, or are you insecure? And I will tell you, I've got a lot of insecurity that people don't even realize. I mean, I'm insecure about a lot of stuff. And so, but it's a motivator for me. It's a motivator every day. So are you insecure about anything that drives the heck out of you every day?
Yeah, I think when I get on this bad boy, I hold that up. It's what am I going to hear on the other end of it? Like, I'll say, hey, Eric, this is Mark Gassert with Sales Concepts. Hope you're really having a successful Thursday. What the hell do you want? Well, what I want is for you to relax and have a good time with me. And the guy started laughing, but you're always worried about getting rejected. I mean, it's not fun.
Yeah. I would be curious, a guy like Ken or everyone has insecurity. Some are just a lot bigger than others.
Right.
But we do all have some insecurities. And like I said, some of those really drive the heck out of some of us. So.
And Ken brought up, everybody has fear.
Live next week, because he's probably going to hear a lot of the same stuff next week. So
you're with him next week?
Yeah, on Wednesday. So you got the good stuff first, Mark.
Oh, wow. Success comes from doing it anyway. Yes. And that's when I said about when, you give up your excuses, And I think that's the other thing too. Like I get mad at myself when I come up with an excuse. I hate myself when I do that. We all
Right.
do it, or
Yeah.
we get into the proverbial blame game.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife will call me out on that. She's Greek, very ethnic, so she'll. By the way, we're probably going to have a big fat Greek wedding, hopefully in December.
Nice.
So that'll be kind of crazy. And
Very cool. Very
he
cool.
says here, no, I'm gonna grind.
Like a pencil.
Oh my God, Ken!
I may be sick next Wednesday. He may try to grind me. I may just throw up live. Just we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But
well, listen. I'm pretty much done with my questions. I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. I know you're here to see Eric. He is the man with the plan. But Eric, I really appreciate your wisdom, always, your wit. And tonight you gave me some things to think about via Facebook. And I'll take note of that and take it to heart, because I probably don't include enough family and other clientele I deal with. And I'm going to start making a point to do that, and thank them. They'll probably freak out and go, well, why'd you mention that? But I just thought I would.
Yeah, quit sharing Jeffrey Gitomer stuff. Nothing. I love Gitomer, but we have got to grow our business, and there's nothing wrong with Jeffrey Gitomer. I love the guy. I've got all of his books, so we've just
listen to that. Ken, thank you. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to make an effort here. I just hope that tonight, seriously, was meaningful for everybody. You got something out of Eric's message. This was not about me. It's totally about Eric. And this is something I want to do every Thursday. And, I got to figure out who I want to interview next, maybe Robert Brooker, or maybe Brian Monahan. There's another brainy mug.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he's an awesome man.
Brian is a smart guy. So, hey, can I just finish with one thing before we get done here?
Absolutely. You go for it. It's your deal.
There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I think there's not enough prayer right now. I think people need to slow it down a little bit and find a little quiet time for 5 minutes just to reflect and close everything out, just shut everything out. And I think as much as we perceive a lot of bad in the world, there's a lot of good stuff in the world, man. I walked out to the mailbox today, and as I walked back, I literally took a picture and I posted it on my Facebook, because I had the bluest sky and the greenest grass today, man. And as much as we want to believe there's so much negative in the world, there's good stuff, man. Right now, I'm lucky to have a job that I get paid, and our employers love me, and I love working there, and you have a job, and I we're just lucky. And I think it's okay to get up in the morning and be thankful, and to post on Facebook, hey, I feel blessed. It's okay. It's okay to be blessed. There are the boo birds out there. They're going to, oh, you shouldn't be so thankful and be so happy all the time. Unfollow, move on with your life, because you know what, there are a lot of good things out there, and I'm just truly blessed. I've got an amazing wife and amazing children. And
you do. You really do.
Be surrounded by this mega mind group that helps me, and I've got great customers that I work with, and so like I said, I think just to come back and put a bow on that, just be thankful. Take a little quiet time and give your thanks for what you have, because I think we really look around, we got a lot of good stuff in this world. So.
Hey, and with that, everybody, he said, block those negative people. Thank you, Ken. With that, always in Mark's message, you know what I'm going to tell everybody, and we're going to end it this way. And it's always to be a leader, be a friend, and be of service. And with that, Eric, I want to thank you so much for sharing your life with us this evening. I hope your wife isn't too upset with you. You didn't miss dinner or whatever.
No, they went to cheerleading practice, so it's all good.
Okay. And let's see. I got one thing. And keep sharing Jeffrey Gitomer. Okay. All right.
No, I got no problem with that. I'm gonna get just beat up for that. Right. You know what? I get it, and I'm okay with it. But at the same time, it doesn't grow your business. You've got to be hyper focused on growing your brand and your business.
Right. No, and I really appreciate.
I guess because Ken brought that up, and is you can spend 10 days on one sale. and when the sale's gone, it's gone. You can spend one day on growing your personal brand, and that lives for 10 days. And sharing Jeffrey Gitomer stuff isn't growing your brand, and it's not helping you sell anything. Learn from him and take nuggets from him that you can apply to your business. But sharing your content does nothing to help you. Does nothing to help you grow your business.
Outstanding point, as usual. Well, he says it actually does. I'll explain it on another live. Okay. Ken keeps coming back. Well, listen, everybody.
I love it.
I'm going to say adios from the peachiest place in the planet. Once again, this was Mark Gassard and Eric Bam, and this was Mark's Message. Thank you very much for everybody joining us. And we will see you again, as always, next Thursday. I'll have another guest on here. So, gee, I wonder who it'll be. You're going to have to stay tuned. And as tomorrow at some point, I'll do my Mark's Message as well. Guys, I'm going to say good evening because my wife's screaming at me here in the background. So be good and be safe. Thanks again, Eric.
Thank you, Mark.